All right, it's Dishan here and Renee. Now, we're shooting this video for all those people, all those members who have purchased our guide on how to stay high value when he pulls away. Just to perhaps clarify a few things and give you some added support as well, I think. I think we've had so many members who loved the guide, but there are certain members, certain customers who have gone through it and it may not have answered all their questions. Mm-hmm. So I thought we might just address some of those. What do you think?
Fine by me.
Okay. So I know that the guide was mostly meant to give the women some support, some emotional support in those moments when their man has pulled away. But there are other questions around just pulling away that I think we might want to address. There's 3 of them right now. I know both of us have written so much about this particular topic. If you just go on our blogs, you'll find over 220 blog posts that Renee has written, and a lot of them are around this topic of men pulling away, because that is a very, very common occurrence, especially when we talk about men.
Yep.
Men pull away for so many different reasons. One of them in particular is just to recharge their masculine spirit, just to go out there and do work.
Yeah.
So I think,
as much as they love being in relationship with you, they do have to pull away at some point and kind of let go and be empty and do the things that suit their own equilibrium as a man.
I feel like, exactly right. There are many reasons why men pull away, and how you will choose to respond to those different scenarios would obviously depend on why he's doing so in the first place. I think it's very important for you to be attuned enough to the man to know why he's pulling away. For example, if you've just met him online last week, had 2 good conversations, and he's now pulled away, that's a different thing to when you're in a committed relationship and he's pulled away. Very different.
Well, some people would call it ghosting in that scenario as well. Yeah.
They're all describing basically the same thing. If you're just getting to know someone, and especially online dating, and they're pulled away, then maybe that's a huge sign that you need to consider. Maybe you don't want to always try and initiate the conversation.
Yes,
because
of course.
maybe he's trying to tell you that he's not as interested. Maybe he's pursuing another love interest. Right?
If you have to overwork yourself, if you have to carry 100% of the initiation all the time, and it feels it feels weighty to you, like it feels like basically you're carrying it, then perhaps you need to stop and really feel that, because feeling that will allow you to have attunement and will allow you to respond in a calibrated way for yourself as well, not just for him.
Yeah, it really depends on the context of the relationship.
Yes, as in what to do when they pull away.
Exactly.
On the context. That's why I've included several scenarios in there and how you can respond, like if he's lost his job or something.
Exactly. There's so many different situations. Nothing's going to replace the fact that you need to be attuned. Nothing. You can do tests, you can do all these little things, but at the end of the day, we want you to get to a place where you are so attuned that you feel intuitively what to do, rather than having to go by advice or a set of protocol that someone else has prescribed you.
And I've given you a guide just to help you feel more secure in your direction of what to do when your man pulls away in certain different scenarios. But there's a multitude of different situations in which men can pull away.
A couple of months ago, I was with my eldest boy camping in New Zealand, and Renee couldn't contact me one night because I was at a camping spot where there was no reception. Again, that may be seen as me pulling away, but I couldn't actually contact you. I couldn't do it at all, and it was getting dark, and we just set up camp, and we had a long day, and I just thought, all right, we need to rest. We'll contact her in the morning.
It broke me. And the reason for that is because, first of all, he's got my 6-year-old child, and I know they're out there doing somewhat risky things. And I love them both to death. And we had been communicating regularly in a certain manner every single day. And it suddenly changed. And so my initial thought was death. something happened. A car accident in that van that he was driving. A hiking accident, because I know they were hiking many, many kilometres together. Something happened. It was just before Australia went into lockdown for the COVID-19 thing, and I was like, oh my gosh, what could be happening? There was already a lot of semi-chaos around, and that night I stayed up crying, and I think I got 4 hours sleep in the end. But next morning, I won't say what I did next morning. It makes me look like a crazy person, but I certainly contacted a certain authority and tried to get help because I was that worried.
But I was okay.
We're okay.
We're okay. Just shows sometimes that as a woman, it's okay to feel things. It's okay to feel things. I think instead of trying to be needy and trying to extract any kind of information, or like you could have tried to call me or message me a million times, that wouldn't have gotten you anywhere, right?
Well, I didn't actually.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I left a few messages and then I was just in my room crying. My youngest son woke up in the middle of the night and said, "Can you stop doing that, please?" And I was like, oh, God, I can't do anything else. I'm just completely surrendered to this terror, because it was terror.
Yeah, and you just had to, I guess, trust in the universe, just give in to those emotions and not try to control anything, because there is no control.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how hard you try to hold on to something, there is none of that to hold on to.
Yeah.
So in those moments, I can totally understand. Sometimes it's going to feel like you're out of control, and that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, because that out of control thing, even if the worst is true, by feeling it, you'll start to process it and you'll start to move forward in your life quicker, as opposed to he's pulled away. Obviously, we'll move on to a different example now, not the example of my husband being in New Zealand or whatever, but let's just say your man's pulled away and it really is the case that he's not interested. Well, at least by grieving and feeling.
You would emotionally calibrate to the situation.
Yeah.
Oh,
and you won't be so afraid of the pain.
Yeah, exactly. He's not interested. I get it emotionally.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
you're not just trying to block that idea out.
And just by feeling, exactly. Just by feeling, you get closer to love. You relax into a woman who becomes really good at relationships. Because at the end of all your emotions, once they're all felt, all that's left is love. I mean, life is pain at the end of the day, and we all have to experience it. It's not only pain, of course, there's lots of joy as well, but we have to be able to access the pain. And otherwise you can't access the joy, the love, exactly. The euphoria, any of that. And it is very lonely, don't get me wrong. I mean, I have been there. And it's really interesting because I'm watching my sons grow up, and I can't tell with the little guy yet, but I can tell with the older son. He's just about to turn 7 in about eight days. And he's very much like his father, and I can see those masculine traits, and I can imagine him perhaps having a girlfriend many years from now. And disappearing for 2 weeks. But because I'm his mother, I can perceive, disappearing for 2 weeks. I can perceive and respect and appreciate now how he is and how important that is for him as a masculine soul. Whereas before having sons, I had no idea. I mean, as I got further along in my relationship with David, I learned to appreciate and understand men a lot more. That helped me, like you could imagine. But after having sons, I can really appreciate and truly appreciate and support that masculine spirit and know that it's not that they want you to suffer. Yes, some men will, but they're just so different. And if a human being is proportionally more comfortable in their masculine energy, they're going to be so different to you. They're going to need to pull away to recharge. They're going to need to find their centre and their emptiness. If they don't have that emptiness, they're not going to be the man that you fall in love with, most likely. So, yeah, that ends my little spiel that I had. Yeah, men are very, very different. And they need to pull away for many different reasons that women may not relate to. So, it's okay. It's okay to feel. And use your emotions to calibrate you to the situation. Yeah. We had a member who asked me a question the other day. She's been having these great conversations with a man online, and suddenly he stopped contacting her for like 2 or 3 weeks. And I might add that this was a guy who she's been talking to a lot of guys, and she really liked his smile, she liked his energy, and he was really good at bouncing back with the banter. this member's been using David's high value banter very successfully, and this guy was so good at bouncing back. So obviously a very high value man, but suddenly he stopped contacting her.
So her question was, should I contact him? Should I ask him how he was?
Yeah.
Or should I leave it? And in that situation, there is no right or wrong way. She initiated the last conversation they had. So just based off that, I would say leave it. Okay. But again, there is no right or wrong answer here. You can contact him just to see where he's at. I mean, at the end of the day, chances are he's pulled away for a good reason. 99% chance he's pulled away because he's chasing another love interest, or maybe some men are trying to pursue their mission or trying to build a business, which, by the way, takes up so much of your energy, emotions, resourcefulness, everything. So they may not be in any state to be in a relationship, to commit to, or to give energy to a woman.
Yeah.
So all these things are happening, and chances are he didn't just lose his phone, on the bus on the way home. So he's chosen not to contact you. So keep that in mind. Now, I told her, it's okay if you contact him, it's okay if you don't. But just know these facts. If you were to contact him, make sure you do it in a non-needy, non-desperate, non-value extracting kind of way, which is exactly what the banter is for. That's why I made the whole course High Value Profile and Banter. It's so that you can, and Attraction Pebbles as well, so that you can establish that connection first without ever looking needy or desperate, without ever looking like you're chasing someone. And there is a way to do that. There's a way to successfully do that. If you're smart and you throw these attraction pebbles or you banter in that way, you're not going to come across as needy. However, you can only do that so many times. You have to still be attuned to whether they respond to you or not. And if they don't over time, take that as a big hint, I guess. So that you know how to move on.
She did get to I've read the messages, and to be honest, she did get to a point where she was pushing harder. Pushing too much. That wasn't proportionate to the communication. She was still doing a good job, but I could feel just by reading it, she was putting in more.
And she needs to know that as well. So again, it's hard to, there's no right or wrong here. If you don't contact him, I think great. You've taken the signs and you move on. You move on and appreciate the conversations that you've had. I think every single step, every single conversation, every single move is something that we can learn from and also appreciate. I think everything helps us become more attuned and help us understand the opposite sex a bit better and understand how to really connect with people better. So there is no right or wrong whether you should contact someone or not. There is no how long should they be.
So we're actually answering one of her questions now?
We're sort of going in and out of these questions. There is no...
there's no right or wrong.
There is no right or wrong as to how long a man should be pulled away for or not. Every single man is going through different stages in his life. If you're building a business, look, he's going to be busy.
And it's happened to me.
So... And
there's no reasoning with it. If he needs to build his business, he needs to build his business. And
I think we need to appreciate that men need to do this for themselves, for their own freedom, for their own sense of being enough as a man. And you can't take him away from that. It's unfair. It's not the right thing to do.
And he will appreciate, if you guys are together and at least somewhat committed, they do appreciate when you're there for them, when they can't give you their energy, when they're busy trying to make something work. They do appreciate that, especially if they love you. True?
Yeah, absolutely. If you're already in a committed relationship, when he's already given you at least some of his trust and emotional investment, right? Then you have to trust that he needs to do this for himself. It's in order for a man to feel like he's enough so that he can show up in a relationship, he needs to do quite a few things. He needs to feel like he's a provider. And if he doesn't feel like he's a provider, no man would want to show up in a relationship. He'd feel every reminder of a relationship will make him feel like he's not enough. Imagine if you're a woman and you have all these blemishes on your face, you wouldn't want to go out. You wouldn't want to show up, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah. Seeing other women with nice clear skin might be, a trigger for you, and you might have.
Yeah, exactly. So it's a very different situation if you're in that committed relationship stage, as opposed to when you're just getting to know someone.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot more trust, a lot more investment already.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that.
Yeah. And if you're in that invested stage and your man's pulled away, then there's a lot more room to open that communication.
Yeah.
Don't worry about who initiates.
Yeah.
You should be way past that.
Yeah.
If you were in a committed relationship.
Yeah.
You should be way past that.
Yeah.
In fact, in those situations, it's important to know exactly what he's pulling away to do. Mm-hmm. And if he has to do it, if it's for work, if it's for his business, if it's for something that he needs to do, then I think it's important to feel your emotions. It's still going to suck to have a man pull away.
Yeah.
But at least you know that you know more information about it. You know, you can feel more certain in that he needs to do this for himself. And that he is going to come back.
Yeah.
And in fact, the less you chase him, the less you try and extract value from him, the more love he's going to come back with.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact,
we recommend you writing letters.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say.
That's what I used to do.
When you have those feelings and when you really miss someone and you know that you shouldn't really contact them, the best thing to do is write them some handwritten letters. Mm-hmm. Write down your emotions, write down how you feel. Not only is that going to cleanse you of all the built up emotions inside of you, but it's going to communicate the essence of the emotions to him without the frustration, without the built up like anger that comes
when... Even
when,
if it does, you have a chance to chuck out the letter.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to give it to him.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas if you just let the emotions build up, it's easy to push it down, and then when it comes out, it becomes more toxic and more venomous.
Yeah.
Even.
Yeah.
So it's much better to put your emotions down on paper. It's best to handwrite it because it's personal to you.
Yeah.
And it's a part of you. It's part of your soul on the paper. Mm-hmm. And then you can either give that letter to him.
And you're more attached to what you're writing as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can feel it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So is there another question?
What do I say or do to him when he does come back? Do I act like nothing has changed, or do I let him know that I felt some distance when he pulled away?
I think this is where the letter writing comes into it as well. The answer to that question will depend on how you feel after the letter writing.
And that also depends on where the relationship is at. What stage?
Yeah.
What stage? I'm for the belief that you should never act as if nothing has happened.
Yeah. No, of course not.
That's going to build resentment in you, and that's going to give him a false sense of your perception of the relationship, I guess.
Yeah, don't mislead a man like that. Yeah, because it takes away from the soul of your relationship, the depth and the sacredness of your relationship.
Ultimately, you want to lead with your vulnerability. I mean, vulnerability is such a big part in the whole commitment process. That's why we have a whole program on it in Commitment Control too. That's why I did a video on high-value vulnerability. It's a free video. You can get access to it. I'm sure I'll put a link below. But the whole point here is if you pretend nothing's wrong, if you pretend everything's okay, that you have everything under control, then a man's going to go, oh, okay, cool, no worries. I'll just spend my energy elsewhere. There's no need for me to bring more of my presence and more of my energy here.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, we were having this conversation the other day, and we're talking about some friends of ours, and a guy friend who once told me, oh, he's so happy that his wife isn't needy, right? I think that, I can't remember his exact words, but...
He said... I remember what you told me. He said the good thing about her is that she's not clingy, she's independent. Independent.
Well, the first thing I thought when I heard that was, I don't believe that, number one. And number two, that's not true. She just doesn't want to express it. And as a result, your relationship isn't nearly as close as you wish it were.
Yeah, well, there's always tension with them. Always.
Yeah.
There's always negative tension. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's okay to feel, and you're a woman, you're supposed to feel.
Yeah.
And you need to...
But we want to make sure that those feelings, when he comes back, you're not trying to pretend that nothing happened, but we want to also make sure that we're just as connected to the appreciation that we have for him when he does come back, and the appreciation for the man that he is. Because I'm sure that when you're interested in a man, truly interested, you don't just have a whole bunch of resentment and anger that you want to take out on him. Beneath that, there is also some sliver of love and yearning. And we want to have that as well. Because if you don't, then it's out of balance and it just causes him suffering and causes you more suffering.
Yeah, exactly. I think that appreciation is quite important. It doesn't matter what stage of the relationship you're at, that appreciation and that understanding that, hey, look, a man doesn't owe you any commitment. He owes you nothing, really. And as you delve deeper into that relationship...
We're talking about dating stages right now? Or?
All the stages. A man is committed because you've earned that commitment. It's not because he just somehow owed it to you and he's forced to give it to you. No.
Yeah.
Because he's invested his emotions into you because of the connection and the attraction that you've built.
Yeah.
That's it.
And it feels good to him to be committed that way.
That's right. It feels good.
It's kind of like, imagine if a man felt like you owed him sex every second day minimum. Even if you're up for that, even if you're ready to just put that on the table, give that value, it still doesn't open your heart and make you feel good and infinite and wonderful.
It's the thought of obligation.
Because the pressure.
The pressure of the obligation takes away any spontaneity, any desire to give.
And so we're not saying that it's wrong to want and desire and yearn for the commitment, not at all. We're just saying that perceiving that someone owes you that gives them a totally different quality of feeling towards you, an association towards you. And you want to be mindful of that, just even for your own self-protection and your own interests, just so that you know that the relationships you're building are ones that you're adding value to and the ones that are resourceful, and not ones that will always be in this cycle of toxicity and suffering, because there's enough suffering around us as there is, as it is,
There is. And I would just add that I guess this is why we have created the courses that we have. And I always wanted to teach women the skill of bantering, especially for the ones who are not familiar or may not feel comfortable bantering. A lot of women are, but a lot of women are not as well.
Oh, yes.
So that in these situations, you don't take yourself so seriously. They come back, and let's say you're in the dating stage, you're not quite committed yet, and he comes back after a week, 2 weeks, doesn't matter. You go, oh, look who's back. Did my milkshake bring you back? What?
Did my milkshake bring you back to the bar?
Did you not get enough last time? It's about that playfulness, and then from that playful place, you can then enter into a more serious conversation, and for the man to know that you're not here to claw at him or extract any kind of value. I think that's very, very important. And that's why we do what we do. That's why we teach what we teach, because these skills are absolutely, I think, necessary. I mean, we've been together for 15 years. 15 years.
It'll be 15 in September.
It will be 15 in September. And banter is a big part of our lives without even thinking about it. I don't plan on what to say, or it just comes out spontaneously because that is a part of us. And I truly believe for a relationship to be passionate long term, it has to be a part of your
repertoire,
part of your soul.
Part of your soul, okay.
Yeah, we're not playing games. This is just you being playful, you being spontaneous. And that has so much value in itself.
Yeah, of course.
So I think, if anything, go out there, learn what it takes to create that kind of high-value banter in your own life. Go to highvaluebanter.com. I've got a whole class on it if you want to take it. It's free. But learn that. I think it's super, super helpful for anyone.
And it will also help you detach and kind of cut the chain of fears that I know a lot of women have surrounding banter. I know I've had it. Obviously, that chain has been somewhat cut now that I practice it all the time, but I remember... Actually, you said I was quite playful early on.
Yeah, but there are certain things. I think everyone has certain wounds.
Yeah.
With certain triggers, certain words,
Yes.
certain triggers, and I think it's important to. I want to use the word desensitize, but it's probably not the right word here. It has sort of a negative connotation. But to, I guess, emotionally massage those wounds so that the wounds heal.
Yeah.
So that those words have no more triggering effects.
Yeah, it's like when you cut your finger, for example. I cut a nerve in my finger once, and the physios kept telling me that you've got to massage it. And it's funny because you never want to massage it, but it's necessary for the healing. But obviously, because there's so much pain and negative association, you want to just kind of forget about it. That's kind of the same with
analogy, yeah.
Triggers, like names you may have been called, or labels you may have placed on yourself, other people may have placed on you. You have triggers about it, but you rather than avoiding it and taking it too seriously, you need to go there, just like with massaging a wound.
Exactly.
Yeah. So did we answer all the questions?
I think we've answered most of the questions. I hope this video has helped you understand, I guess holistically, the idea of men pulling away and what you need to do as a woman from different perspectives as well as different stages of the relationship, because it really matters what stage you're in.
And also, David's got an article on how many women is the average man talking to on dating apps. It will open your eyes, although you probably already know that men are talking to a lot of...
Well, they're trying to talk to as many as possible.
Women are also talking to a lot of men.
Yeah, exactly.
And it'll help, just give you a reminder to stay a little detached in the beginning. Understand what online dating is, that it's a very superficial thing. Once you feel that it's superficial, you'll naturally be able to kind of...
Calibrate a bit better, I think.
With online dating, and it won't hurt you as much when someone suddenly ghosts you after one conversation.
It's just the conversation. That's all.
Yeah.
There's nothing there, just in one conversation. And women tend to have a tendency to attach too early. Or you may have this, you build up this idea, this image when you're conversing with someone. And you idealize certain things.
Yeah.
I guess try and do less of that.
Yeah.
And just take it slow.
Yeah.
I think it's in your interest to take things slow, but banter along the way to see where the man's at.
Well, we do say that early attachment is normal for a woman.
It is normal.
That's absolutely what you need to do. But don't make it wrong. But just be aware of who you are as a woman and what your tendency is. Be very aware of it and look after it. Protect it and make sure that you're looking out for yourself. Because if you're out there attaching to some Joe Blow on the internet who's got 35 other conversations with sexy women, that doesn't serve you at all. So appreciate what online dating is. Don't expect it to be anything deep, but do the right things for yourself. Use the banter to weed out the bad ones, because there are good ones on there.
Absolutely.
A lot of women just don't know that because they're doing online dating wrong.
Yeah, absolutely.
They just don't get and appreciate that it's a different place and it needs different actions.
Yeah.
So once you appreciate that, you'll find online dating a lot more fun, a lot more rewarding. As our 71-year-old member she was killing it.
Exactly.
In online dating.
You have fun, and it's meant to be fun. And the banter, that's why it's such an important skill. You throw these little lines, these types of little I call it high value banter because they make you look high value. At the same time, it's playful and it inspires the other person to respond to you. If they don't, they weeded themselves out. You know, they disqualified themselves.
Yep.
I'm getting too excited here.
Yeah.
So it's important to learn that skill. And that is going to help you calibrate to the situation. That's how you're going to weed people out. That's how you're going to create attraction and connection with the right ones. Otherwise, it's a losing battle. I don't see how you could ever make online dating work, especially online dating, if you didn't follow those steps. Ever. Anyhow, I think we're getting off topic a little bit.
We are. We should stop it there. Thanks for watching, guys, and we hope you enjoy the guide.
Yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you, exactly. Enjoy the guide. I think it's important to really, sometimes read it twice, really embody everything, all the content in the guide, because it's easy to feel like you're out of control when a man pulls away.
Any valuable course or guide, anything, you should read it at least 2 or 3 times. And personally, well, before I had kids, I had time for this. But I would go through these courses again and again and again. I'm not talking about these ones, the ones I've made, but the other areas of life that I want to learn about, I always go through them again and again, and they just become, they give me, it's hard to explain. It's just like the second time around, your brain and your body and your mind have had a chance to process it in its own way. The first time around, you kind of sleep on it. Come around to the second one and it goes deeper and you really get it. And
you find new things that you didn't realize before, new connections.
Yeah.
Yeah, those new connections. I mean, I remember when I first listened to Tony Robbins and we got this CD, like one of those old CD recordings, and it was the first piece of Tony Robbins content that I sort of had purchased. And I listened to that one CD probably, I believe, hundreds of times now. And maybe 5 to 7 years after the first time I listened to it, I learned something new. I'm like, oh, I didn't catch that before. After hundreds of times, hundreds of repetitions, I still learned something new.
Of course you did, yeah.
Made a new connection that I never realized.
Yeah.
So, again, they're at the end of the day, what we talk about, it's rather simple. They're not complicated matters here. But you have to get it in your body, get it in your emotions, embody it, live it, make it a habit so that you go to it predominantly. That's when you're going to see the better results. There's no magic 3-step formula here. There's no magic phrase. It's all just about being attuned and play this game of bantering, play this game of connecting and creating that attraction. If you can do that, if you can practice those skills, then you're going to have absolutely massive success in relationships, in love with men. All right? Hope you've enjoyed this video.
Yeah, leave us a comment below if you want.
Let us know.
Say
and I hope you enjoy this journey. It really is a journey, this whole commitment process. You're welcome to take any of our courses. You know, we're really passionate about what we teach, and we've got,
if you can't tell,
we've got about, like, I think 10 courses now. I think all of them will help you gain the awareness, the skills of what it takes to go through that commitment process of understanding men to a deeper level, so that they will come back appreciating you more and loving you more because they go, oh wow, she gets it.
And understanding is also the first step of attunement, I feel like.
Yeah.
Understanding is like, if you understand the opposite sex, it's much easier to attune yourself. Otherwise, you can just be walking around in the dark, fumbling in the dark.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Anyhow,
let's stop it there.
Let's not.
We could talk all day.
We can talk all day. Thank you for watching this video. Leave a comment below.
We'd love you to say hi.
And we'll see you soon. We'll hopefully see you in one of our courses. If not, we'll see you very soon.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.